Hello, and welcome to Alchemy Mindset. I'm your host, Anna Hastie, business mindset coach for women and a sound healer. If you are ready to become the most aligned, magnetic, and confident businesswoman you are worthy and deserving of being, then this show is for you. This is where I share everything from mindset, energy, and spirituality, and how to embody your future self in business and life. Sprinkle that with deeply relaxing sound healings and meditations, and you have the Alchemy Mindset podcast. Hit subscribe so you always get the latest episode. Now let's begin. Welcome, dear listener. Welcome to this podcast episode. I'm going to make it really super quick. A real super quick recap of my 2024 and what I'm planning for 2025. I actually am just recording this for the second time, because I felt like 25 minutes in to the first recording, it's like a boring speech of what I did this year, and I don't think you need it. It's almost like one of those investor reports or those corporate summaries, and you're just like, yeah. My eyes just glazed and my ears shut down on that. So I'm going to try and make this really super sharp and snappy, because I guess what I really want within this podcast is to share. It's not a boasting platform. It's to share what I've achieved. Also for me to just personally diarize this and just record it as a little time capsule of what I've done this year. So I hope that inspires you to do something similar, whether you just voice note it into your phone or you verbally voice note it into Google Docs so you can read it later. But it's really good to just look at the things and aspects of your business and go, wow, I did achieve a lot. Was I on track with my goals? Did I shift and move away? Have I evolved? Have things happened in the way that I've really wanted them? It's a really good opportunity to sit down and do that. And I know we're busy and I know there's lots of stuff happening with Christmas, but honestly, if you can just give yourself 10 minutes just to voice note, document what you've achieved for the year and your reflections, it helps put into perspective that you've done amazing things. Honestly, sometimes when we get to December, we're so clogged and bogged down with just getting through the last hurdles of work, Christmas prep, organizing holidays, that we're just looking for that spaciousness in that week between Christmas and New Year's, and maybe the week after before you go back to work if you've only got 2 weeks off, where you can just fully binge eat, hopefully not binge drink, but you can just really relax, let yourself go, have fun, sleep in, do all the things, have fun with your family, whatever it is, before you pick up the reins and continue with work, which I have to say come January will feel like a bit of a tough slog, because it's like getting that momentum and that drive again. But hey, each to their own. Maybe you'll be ramped up and ready to go by the time you get back to work. So please take a moment, just really reflect on what's happened in your year, because you'll be so surprised as to what you actually have achieved when you sit down and you look at maybe your goals and intentions that you mapped out from the start of the year to what you've achieved within this time. Now, I just reviewed my annual goals and my strategy for 2024, and some of it was on the mark and some of it was really far off the mark. But I have learned a lot about myself this year. I honestly feel like this year is or has been that year of inner development, expansion, and growth. Words that I had, for some reason, tapped into for this year were leadership and trust. And I would say, I have had to lean into a lot of trust in myself, in the processes that I'm doing, the people that I've asked for support, the time that I have, universe, my higher self, God, all the things, to know that I am on the right track and things are working out in my favor. And that the leadership, I'm like, oh, was I really a leader this year? But when I look at the courses I offered and the things that I did, trainings, workshops, retreats, collabs, I'm like, well, actually, I did have an element of leadership within that. That does take leader type qualities to step out into that realm of teaching, of holding space, of workshops, rather than just plodding along with the normal of whatever it was that I'd previously been doing. Overall, I felt like this year I had to go all in. Francois had time off at the start of the year. It was such a flippin' blessing. He was able to step into daddy daycare, do so much renovation work in our backyard. Most people, when they have long service leave, they all go off on a holiday or something, but we chose to stay in Broome. And I said to him, this is where I want to go all in. You have to step up and hang out with Ava a bit more, and I need time to work on my business. Like, if this doesn't happen this year, it's never happening. And that was kind of like the deal I made with myself as well. It was like, if this doesn't flip and happen this year, it's never going to happen. And I said to him as well, if I don't take this time for myself now and make things happen, and for me, making things happen was committing, holding myself accountable, working on myself, reaching goals, setting targets, like actually being a little bit more diligent with what I was wanting to do rather than just waffling along, then this was going to happen. And it had to happen in this time, and it had to happen now because I knew that next year we would have our second baby. And so I've been looking at my notes going, oh yeah, I was on track. I was far off track. Let's see what happened. And also in this episode, I just want to share with you some of my plans for 2025, because I feel like what we feel like we're doing at the start of the year can dramatically shift throughout the year. And that's okay. Like, it is totally flipping okay to have a plan that gets slightly modified or changed as we go along, as we evolve, as we see new opportunities, as we experience things. And I feel like for me, if you haven't already heard episode 90, where I went through a shamanic death, experienced a parallel life, chaos, and had my car stolen, that was like a key moment for me where I've shifted. I've literally shifted in an energetic, expansive sense from one element of who I was to who I am now. And I knew something would unfold like this because when I was tuning into the spirit of this baby number 2, which is a girl, and I actually knew at the start of the year it would be a girl before they even confirmed it. I just was like, it has to be a girl. Like, I know it's going to be a girl. I knew that this spirit was very strong, very angelic, just holding space for me in my growth and helping me shift and move into this place where I am now for the better. And it was a really beautiful reminder of everything that's happened this year, that life happens for you and not to you. Like, life happens for your betterment. Like, we have to sometimes go through the shit show and the trauma and the ugly bits to ride it out the other side with the support, with the love, with the healing. So what I've experienced and done has been with the support of an energy healer, Kerry White, as well as with my mindset coach, Nikki Vox, to support me to get me where I am. And what feels like was a major hurdle in this year has felt more like a tiny little blip now. And where I'm on the other side is so much more better. Like, I just love this spaciousness, energy, this creativity, this unfolding that is developing right now. So I'm going to break it down as quickly as I can into mindset coaching, sound bath healing, podcasts, collabs, energy healing, my novel, and 2025 plans. So let's go. So as I said, I was going to go all in this year. I knew I needed support. I knew I needed to tidy up some areas that I wasn't satisfied in within my business. And I always like to look at areas where I can improve on. Marketing. I felt like I wanted to be stronger in my messaging, more confident, more playful, have more fun, and do it in a way that felt like that I wasn't waffling or wasting my time. So I chose to work with Taryn Bolt from The Social Bolt, who is a marketing wizard and a gem. And I'm so glad I invested in her one-to-one coaching session because she really helped me streamline my processes and my offers so I feel more confident about that, figure out a bit more about my messaging and my marketing, as well as have more fun and realize that there is a way in a process I can do things according to when I'm promoting a workshop or a course or just wanting to share more about what I do. So she helped me realize there's a process that feels right for me, and that's something that I've enjoyed and I've continued doing. I love actually communicating to everybody through my emails and my podcast, and then flipping what I share into social media last. So she's really helped me get out of that grind of that we have to show up for social media, and that for me, it's showing up for my email community, showing up here on the podcast. And I love it. So I'm so grateful that I invested in her. I then knew I wanted to invest in my mindset somewhere. And I'd had my eye on Nikki Vox for a while because she'd trained in a specific kind of therapy or like mindset coaching that I was like, ooh, I'm really interested in that. I've had some experiences of the shifts in that. I want more. But when I initially reached out to her, it just didn't feel like the right time. And the right time was literally like I had signed up with her in July, and shit show happened in the end of July and all throughout August, and that's when I needed her. It couldn't have been better, divinely inspired and aligned for me to work with her. So going back to the mindset, in terms of mindset coaching clients, it was my intention that I would really work hard. And I felt like maybe it was more in the first half of the year that this evolved, that I would work with some beautiful business women in the mindset coaching program. And I had so much fun. I loved having that larger container, that 3-month program where we got to work on so much within business. I incorporated sound, energy healing, mindset work. Like I literally felt like I was in my game. And more than anything, I loved hearing the transformation, the aha moments, this is what's happened, this is how I've evolved, this is where I'm going, this is what I've released, this is how I'm feeling through my mindset. Because I honestly believe, as a testament to the work that I've done this year, if I have not worked on my mindset, I don't think I could be fully sitting here feeling as confident, at ease and clear and, I don't know, excited, abundant, joyful about what I do than just solely focusing on a strategy or goals or intentions. Like it has to go hand in hand. Like you have to be fully backed within your mind and your energy about what you want to do to what you want to achieve, right? I know, I'm going to say it all the time. I do believe mindset work is so underrated, but you have to do it. It's the inner development work you are being called to do. So helping and support those clients, I just loved it. I had some pretty ambitious goals in terms of how many people I wanted to see a month and how many people I would attract in. And I guess in some ways that's still a work in progress. I know and see where it can get more stronger, but it just didn't happen. And I'm allowed myself for that. Like I'm allowing myself for this slow growth through this process. And that if it doesn't all happen immediately, where do I need to work on myself and my energy? It's not my offers, it's not what I'm doing, it's how I believe in myself. So that's where I feel like I will, in 2025, continue work a little bit more on that. So stay tuned. I did want to have by now, it just hasn't happened, it's a podcast, a free podcast, a private podcast, where it's so many episodes where I just unpack what the Alchemy Mindset Transformation Method is, which is what my mindset coaching program is all about, and how you can take that method and apply it to your business. That's still there, it just hasn't happened. And I think it hasn't happened because then I switched gears more to I went through that horrible moment in August, so life literally got put on pause a bit in August, but then I was moving into doing the workshops and that kind of took my attention. Sound baths. Loved it, love it, love it, love it, still love it, will always love it. And I've learned that this year, my mission in the world is to share sound bath healing with more people through teaching and workshops. I love teaching. I love holding the group sessions that I do on Sundays. I love holding space for people to come and learn. I love teaching spirituality. I love that. And that is where I feel like my energy and my alignment and my joy is, more than in doing one-to-one private sound baths. I kind of had this feeling like mid-year it would be great to expand my offers to do more weekly sound baths in group sessions as well as offer more one-to-ones. I felt like for some reason I wasn't honoring what I did by not doing that many one-to-ones. But lo and behold, the universe has different plans for me. Spirit, higher self is like, let's see where you do it. Go on, experiment, see how you feel, and then we'll review the situation afterwards. Wow. I've reviewed it, and at this moment in time, one-to-one sound bath healings will exist, but only on an online format. I'm more than happy to do private groups, corporate, collaborations, workshops, teachings, group sessions on Sundays, but that's where I will hold space within the sound bath healings and things that I love doing. One-to-ones in person, and I guess mainly because I don't have that, like I don't have a space in my house anymore to do it, and I'm not hiring a studio every week to do that. It's just like the energy is just not there. The drive, the pull, the ambition is not there, and I feel like that is for somebody else to do, and I'm here to teach them how to do that, and then they can go do that, which is great, which is amazing. There are so many more people out there who are amazing at one-to-ones, and that's where I'm going to help them to be amazing through training them to be sound bath healers, and they can go do that. Okay, so also I think somewhere in there, I had this ambition to do like 3 professionally recorded sound baths where I would hire a music studio and I would record 3. Don't ask me why I want to do 3 professional ones. Don't ask me what I would do with them. But just for some reason that's there. But again, it gets listed every year and it still hasn't happened. So I feel like maybe that's not meant to be my space and time just yet, but maybe in the future. I don't know what I just like the idea of having sat down and recorded at least 3 sound baths that sound purely blissful and not so amateurish through my microphone that I've done at home, and that they could be there for people to really tap into. But yeah, I don't know. Sound Bath in Nature series got finished. Hella freaking Lula, yippee. Amazing, finally got finished. So I will advertise more of that. If you have purchased that in the past, there's now 15 recordings. Not 3, not 2, 15. So get yourself listening to those. And I've got one more I want to upload, a recent one I recently did. So that's all there. That is all there for you. So I'm so glad I got that done. That was just a nice little project that I could go tick, done, advertise during maternity leave, please. Podcast. Let's see what's happening with that podcast. I set my intention to do at least 1 podcast a week because last year I did it fortnightly, which was great. But this year I was like, nah, going to go all in, going to do it weekly. And I also want to interview more people and to be featured on podcasts. Like I want to get my messaging more out there. So I hired my podcast editor, beautiful Olivia D'Souza, to go out there and find these people. Find places where I can be on the podcast and I'd find people to come for me to interview. And I had so much fun meeting all these amazing people, interviewing people, hearing their stories, sharing everything. Loved it. And also being featured on people's podcasts. It really helped me like step more into that, I guess you could say, leadership quality, but also ownership of this is what I do, this is who I support, this is who I help. And I had this ambition that I'd do like 20 of each. Didn't happen. I have to say, towards the end of this year, I got a little bit tired of my podcast. And I think what I've realized, as much as I love doing it, committing to a weekly sound bath has just been a bit tiring for me when I want to focus my energy on the workshops or trainings and things like that. And I think this is going to be something I'm going to talk a little bit more in a moment. I like to work on things in my business that light me up at that moment in time. And I think if I hadn't been so like stubborn, dug my heels and gone, no, I'm going to continue doing a weekly episode, which I have, although some of them lapsed and they've like, this one was meant to come out today and it hasn't. It'll come out maybe next week. I feel like next year we'll put it on pause, on like hold. I had thought that maybe during maternity leave I'd do 1 a month, but I actually feel like I want to put the podcast on hold for when I feel like I've got something really cool to share and more to share. And right now I don't. Where I want to share my energy and my time is within my sound baths and the level 1 training that's coming up. So I need to put the podcast to one side, knowing that there will be, by the time I do, 97 episodes, not quite the 100, there will be 100, and more. But put that to one side for when I gain that momentum and that excitement to do that again. I really enjoyed doing the trilogy series where I interviewed those 3 women who I felt were doing like really exceptional different things. Brooke McIntosh, Tara Rawson, and Anna Jarvie. Loved doing their interviews. And I also enjoyed doing episode 90, 91 and 92 where I interviewed Nikki and Kerry and I gave you the full rundown of what happened in the middle of the year. Really enjoyed that. Got put into Spotify jail over one episode. I think it's episode 82 because it said it was like music. It's a sound bath. It's a meditation. And that it breached their rules and all that. And I've got to appeal that. It's still on my list of things to do. But yeah, podcast. Loved it. Did I reach some of my goals? Yeah, I loved it. Some weeks I had 60 or 80 listens or downloads. Some I didn't, and I saw it as according to like where my energy was, my focus was, and where my mood was. I sort of have had a lot of emphasis on this podcast as being like the big thing, like the big draw card. But in actual fact, right now, it doesn't feel like it's a necessity. It's a nice add-on to have. So that's why I think I'm going to put it a little bit aside, take a little break, have a little refresh, and come back to it post-maternity leave and see where I want to take things. Collabs, love them. I've actually had set the intention that every month I would have a collab to do, whether I reached out to someone or someone reached out to me and we work together and do something, and I just love it. I love working with people. I love sharing and holding space with people. I love the energy. I love the feedback. I just love it. Like, it's so much fun. And this year I had the intention that I would, it was actually quite interesting. So I'd put in on my list that I wanted to go on a retreat for myself, which I got to do in March. I went to Bali. I had that time out for myself, did a bit of energy healing work, did some like reflection work, had some time out for myself, which I feel like was such a long time ago. I could really do with that right now. It's so much better to go right now, actually. And then I'd also put there that I would hold a retreat in Bali. I actually got offered and invited to do that, but the retreat didn't, it went ahead, but in the end I wasn't needed anymore, which was fine. Long story, not going down that road, and that was fine. But it was really interesting to see how that, like, there was a possibility and it was there, and I was very like unattached from the outcome. Like, they said, look, it may happen, it may not, we're not sure yet, blah blah blah. And I was like at the time, well, if it goes ahead, this is amazing, but if it doesn't, that's okay. I still took myself on a retreat to Bali, had a bit of time out for myself. I loved it, had some clarity, had some insight, and actually my retreat has inspired others to go as well and experience the same place and the same thing. And I'm so happy to be able to be that catalyst for them, because for one particular person, they would never have considered doing that, but they said it was profound, like life-changing for them. And I'm just so happy that they took their intuitive lead after hearing my story to go and do that and have that time for themselves. So collabs, I love them. I want to do more of them. I'm always open and willing to do corporate session, private, coaching of any sort, mindset of any sort, sound baths of any sort, retreats. You can hire me. I'm available. Post-maternity. And while Francois was around to look after 2 kids, right? Energy work. So usually each year I like to focus on something practical for my business and something more inner development for myself. And long story short, this course came along into my vision and I ummed and ahed about it, and then I thought, why flippin' not? So it's called Dark Forces, and it's a course all about how to clear energies and entities that are not of highest aligned light and love energy. She calls it Dark Forces, or beings absent of light. And I found it really interesting. There's a lot of some conspiracy theories, or theories, I will say, that she suggests that actually have confirmed how I feel about the world and why I often feel about certain things when it comes to music, TV, movies, magazines, even Netflix right now. Like, I am so uninterested in TV. You just wouldn't believe it. Her name's Ali Ninfo. You can go check her out. Some of the things she said, I'm like, this is so flippin' interesting, and I really enjoying it. And I've actually been able to do some more energy healing and clearing on myself and my family and my house and all sorts of things. And I feel like that in itself has really shifted and opened me up for more expansive possibilities, along with the mindset and the energy work that I received back in August when I went through that massive, big transformational shift, which has kind of put me into this place where I just feel so expansive. And expansive in terms of, like, if I had to describe it, because expansive is a word, but how does it feel? It feels like everything is possible and nothing is impossible. Anything that I want is possible. Anything I desire, I'm able to achieve, and that I'm fully supported by myself, by a higher self, by universe, by source, by God, by manifestation, whatever you want to say, to make these things happen and to receive them, and that I'm so worthy and deserving of them. And it's really helped me shift and come more into that, as I've been calling it, and really tuning into it more so this year and the start of this year, which I think is what this little spirit baby has been telling me, the entrepreneuress. She's the queen, like my version of being a queen. So it's been really fun to be part of that and experience this shift and just see how, like, calm I feel within myself, because I'm no longer in a dysfunctional, unregulated nervous system. That's part of the work that Nikki did with me. And that it makes me feel like everything anything is possible for 2025. Like, I'm going to have time out to be with my family. I'm going to spend some quality, uninterrupted time with this new baby, with my family. We're going to go traveling. Francois going to be around. And then what unfolds within the business and the work that I do is just going to be flipping amazing. And I know I'm going to have more insights and downloads and understandings once I get to the other side of those 6 months off. So I guess it kind of leads me to 2025. What is happening? What is going to happen? So let's look at this. January, having some time off. See ya. Bye. And then February is my last hurrah. It is, until I come back, it is the level 1 sound bath healing certification. So you can become a practitioner and learn how to hold and lead sound baths in individual and group sessions and know how to completely, wholeheartedly and intuitively play crystal singing bowls. I cannot wait to do this. This literally has just come through from the teachings that I did this year of the intro to sound bath healing. I did that 3 times, and each time someone said, are you going to teach more? Like, you're going to teach more? And I'm like, well, I guess I have to now. Don't have to, but I will. Like, this, why stop at the introduction? Like, why stop at the introduction when you can lead people even further into their greatness and what they're meant to be doing through sound? So I've been visualizing myself, I would say, since September, when I did the last spiritual development round and the last sound bath healing round, of myself climbing this mountain. And that's what 2024 has been. Like, I'm in the Alps somewhere. I'm in a high mountainous area. There's mountains all around me. So if I turn around, I can see all the flipping mountains I've climbed to get to this moment. And I'm climbing this amazing mountain. The path isn't treacherous. It isn't difficult. It's not Everest. It's straightforward. Follow the little markers and you can get to the summit. And I had a pause, I think in October, in this little meadowy area. And I got to reflect and look about and understand and appreciate where I'd come. And then to see where I have to go to finish, which the finish line will be the end of February when I've done the training. I've led and held the training. It's an easy walk. Like, it isn't actually going to be a slog. It isn't difficult. It isn't hard. And I think this has also come through from the mindset and the energy work that I've been doing. That's made me realize that it's so flippin' fun. There's a few little sidewalks to do. So I had, a collab over here and another event over there. But they're easy. Like, everything is so easy. And that this level 1 is just gold. Like, it's literally a treasure chest that I'm holding and I'm wanting to open and just share with the participants, with the students of this training. And I'm so excited because when I get to that top of that mountain, it's done. And I did it. And I just feel like that the summit, that when I've reached that summit, is the culmination of the whole year that I just went through to get to where I am now. And I am so flippin' proud of myself. I will say this. I am so flippin' proud of myself for all the work, for all the things I've shifted and navigated to get to that point. And then beyond that, it's like the vista is amazing. And there's so many more opportunities that are going to be open and flowing through, and potentials and more amazing work and opportunities. And even though I don't know what they are, because I feel like that vista is still a bit hazy, ideally, when I come back, my intention is to continue doing the group sessions, the sound bath sessions, continue doing mindset coaching in my maternity leave spare time, because when you have like 2 kids and a new baby, like obviously you're going to have lots of time to yourself, to have finished a few projects or just tidy up a few loose ends. Good planning, Anna. But to focus on what really lights me up. In my human design, I'm a generator. We're meant to do what lights us up, what we feel so called and attracted to, that brings us joy. And I feel like that's how I see my business and the way I work. Like, I've got my business in itself as a manifesting generator, which means it can be a multitasker. They can have many projects on the go, which is the truth, because I have many elements of my business, but I just want to pick at the things that feel exciting to do each and every time. So I will be coming back and I'm going to do the spiritual development workshop, the intro to sound, and then hopefully within next year I will have planned out where I'll be holding the next level 1. And I would love to do it more than once in 2026, somewhere in the start of the year, maybe somewhere in the middle of the year, see how it rolls and see how it expands and how I can leverage that training to hold more space for more people to learn about sound baths. That's where I feel like I really feel aligned with my energy right now, and I feel really excited to explore and do. And that's it. That's my recap. 2024 meets 2025, and I cannot wait. Like, I cannot wait. I just love it. I just love all this stuff that's flowing and that's coming. So I want you to like take a moment for yourself. I can't remember if I said this at the start. So if I have, I apologize for repeating myself. It may be just me remembering the episode that I recorded and I'm not going to share with you. But take time before the end of the year to voice note, recap in some way, write down, or just voice note into, a Google Drive doc so you can read it later, what you achieved for 2024. Look at what you had planned and set out at the start, see what did or didn't happen, and that's okay. Like, if it did happen, amazing. If it didn't happen, that's okay. Like, it doesn't matter. Did things sort of divert, go a little bit differently? Did new things come into your vision? Are there repeat patterns happening over and over again? Because I tell you what, 2025 is a time for you to do the work, inner work, healing work, mindset work, shifting work, whatever it is, so that you can look back at the end of 2025 in 1 year's time and be so amazed at everything that you've achieved. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, I made $1 million, or I, sold X amount of products, or I had so many clients. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. It can be where you personally see the growth and the shifts and the changes within yourself, knowing that you are each and every day, each and every month, every moment within your business, moving, stepping and growing forwards into more and more of what you are desiring and wanting to become. It gets to be easy. It gets to be so easy when you do the work. And when you take time to reflect and celebrate. Like, celebrate how amazing you've been. Celebrate all the amazing things you've done. Celebrate the goals and the wins, because that helps you understand that nothing's been wasted. Everything's been happening in the right way. Obviously, between now and the end of February, I've got spaces open if you want to do a 90-minute mindset coaching session with me, where we look at your goals and intentions for 2025 and align that with your mindset. We do a review of 2024. We get you aligned for 2025. We do the mindset work so we can get you there, so that when it comes to 25, whenever you choose to step into your business again, you're ready to do it, and you're ready to do it with that passion, wholeheartedness, enjoyment, fun, fabulousness, all the things that you are. So if you're interested in that, have a look in the show notes below. Reach out to me on Instagram at Anna F. Hastie, or, on my website, however it rolls. Thank you for listening to this episode. I've got 2 more, and then I'll be leaving you for a little while. But I hope you're fabulous. I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll speak to you soon.